Pozdrav ekipa, dobrodošli na najboljem događaju ikada, kick-offu 2022. godine. Nadam se da ste dobro slavili za novu godinu. Ja sam Mitja, ovo je Saša, upoznali smo Herbalife pred 14 godina, a Saša će ispričati kako.
Ja sam bila instruktorica aerobik i radila sam za firmu koju je u stvari Mitja. Radila sam i na Ministarstvu za poljoprivredu, a Mitja je učio ljude kako skijati. Danas vas pozdravljava iz najboljih vakance koje smo zaslužili u Herbalifeu. Znate da imamo dvoje djece, da stvarno djeca žive život u Herbalifeu sa nama već 14 godina. Ja sam imala poteškoće sa energijom, bila sam instruktor aerobike i Ula mi je, moja mentorica, prije 16 godina kazala za Herbalife, ali tati još nisam bila spremna. Ali kad dođe vreme. I ja i Mitja smo išli na jedan veliki događaj na STS u Zagrebu gdje smo vidjeli puno ljudi koji su imali odličan lifestyle i sada ga imamo i mi i stvarno smo zadovoljni da možemo sa cijelom familijom živjeti po našim mjerama. Tako da, evo, sada ćemo nas dvoje najaviti specijalnog gosta koji je kratko vrijeme u Herbalifeu, a napravio toliko puno da možemo samo uzeti olovke i svoje papire i zapisati sve što će on danas kazati i mi zajedno ćemo najaviti u statusu
Senior Executive President Team 50K
Pablo Nebera
i Miriam Sanchez.
My name is Pablo Nebera. I come from Spain and I do the business since 2015 with my wife Miriam. And firstly, I would like to say thank you very much for the invitation. For us, it's an honor to be here in this event. So thank you very much for this invitation. Today we are going to speak about the leadership. Tommy said to me when he spoke to me, Pablo, I want you to treat the event as your team was. Before, I am telecommunication engineer, but I was professor also at the university. And I was professor with a blackboard. And now I use my virtual blackboard with my iPad. And this is how I teach my team, actually, as I used to do it in the university. So I am always teaching my team with my board. And this is how I will teach you about the leadership. Today is one of my favorite subjects, obviously, because the leadership is like how to create royalties is one of the most difficult part, but one of the most amazing parts. Actually, Herbalife is a really easy business because it's based on really basic things, and you have to repeat and repeat, as we will see in the supervisor section. But you need to have a well-structured system, a well-structured platform, or a well-structured team to make sure you grow, and you never stop growing. No? Obviously, you will find in the way many issues, and this is basically what you have to do, because life is changing. I mean, and the business now is totally different than as 10 years ago, and the people 10 years ago did the business different manner. Basic concepts, similar, totally the same, but now the way we do the business is totally different. We have the technologies in our side, so now we can use it. For example, in the Zoom meeting, this is basic for me because we can have training with people around the world. So this is very good for us. So this is why we start growing, because we use the technology properly. And in the past, we didn't have this technology. But we have now challenges and different ways to do the challenges, marathons, and many other ways to do. So the business, you have to adapt yourself to the current situation. The better people who adapt to the new system or the new environments or the new platform of the new whatever, because for example, when social media comes, you have to adapt your business to social media, introduce in one manner, in another manner. People who adapt properly to the life will grow. People will not, will keep stable and even go down because the people and the business is different. So most probably, for sure, in 10 years, you will have, or we will have a different business than we have now. So this is basic, very basic for us in the leadership, because you need to make sure you adapt. And actually, I compare this very easily with when you are climbing a mountain, and at the beginning you are in the base of the mountain, and everything looks easy, no? You see one stone, and you see the stone. When you analyze the stone is very easy. I cross the stone, I jump the stone, and it's fine. Later, probably you can find one river, and you see the river, and you see, oh, the river, how do I do? And you see on that way one bridge, and you say, let me take this bridge. And probably you will have to adapt your way to the situation you will find in the future. I don't have too much experience because we have been in the business only 6 years, but my business changed many times in these 6 years, many times. So I have to adapt my business several times, and it depends of what I saw, I adapt my business to one part or the other. Why? Because probably 5 years ago, the technology didn't exist. This technology or this application I'm using now didn't exist, or we didn't know. Because this is reality. This is what we will have in the future. So it's like we see the river, and you can do two things. You say, I need to cross the river, because the way, follow the river, follow the mountain, climbing the mountain. So you cannot think that anything can stop you. You have to find solution if you want to go in that way. If you want to go in that way and you find a river, you find a solution. And this is basically what the people doesn't. Probably they see a river or they see a big stone and they say, oh my God. So every day we are taking actions and decisions, but not only in Herbalife, even in our life. Every day, since we wake up, we take decisions. For example, we use our car and we see a car in front of us. And we know that we need to turn right in 1 kilometer ahead. And we see this car, what we do? I have time. I go and I pass. So this is one decision you do. Basically, we use this decision. We take decision every day, many decisions. But most of the decisions, you take them automatically. When you have to take decisions for long term, you have to think, you have to sit, you have to see, and you analyze one way, another way, and then you take the action. For example, in the case to pass the car, it's very easy because you see, you look your mirror, only this, there is nobody behind, you cross. If you see someone behind, you stop. Another decision, you decide to stop. And probably in that moment, the second time you try to pass, no, it's not the moment because now the exit is 100 meters and I don't have time. So most of the time we are taking decision all the time. In the business will happen exactly the same. So if you find the river, you can do two things. Firstly, you have to think that you need to cross the river because the way is in that way. So if you want to cross the river, you have to find a solution to cross the river. So you can start swimming, and you will cross the river. And probably you will not be ready for this and will not be the good moment, and you will have to wait because there is too much water, probably too fast, and it can be dangerous. But what's happening if you analyze? If you analyze, you look on one side, you look on the other side, and you see the river get narrow in that area. If they get narrow in that area, cross the river in that area, it will be easier. You have to move a little bit to that area and you go and then cross in that area. But probably will save you time if you do like that you cross the river directly. This is a very important example because normally the people see one problem that you will have problems and they try to cross the problem just working. And this is not only working. For sure, working you will solve any problems you will have. This is the river. And if you prepare yourself, you can make sure that you can cross the river. But probably because you didn't analyze properly, you saw behind one tree this bridge. And this bridge, you don't need to swim. You go to this bridge, you cross the river, and you come back and you are not wet. So sometimes we need to take the proper decision to go in this way. But to do this, you have to make sure that you analyze your situation and all the problems you will have and say, possibilities, and I will choose this one. Obviously, if you want to advance, you need to choose. Because if you don't choose and you don't stop all the time, you will not cross the river. And at the end, you need to cross the river because the success is in the top of the mountain, For sure, in the way climbing the mountain, you will find many other problems. Probably you will see one big stone. Oh my God, what do? I need to climb it. I need some materials. If you prepare yourself, for sure you will climb it. Look at their environment because probably there is a ramp over there much easier. So this is one thing you need to analyze because every step you do in the future, they will have a situation similar than this. The good thing is in Herbalife, many of the river has been crossed by any other member. And many of these big stones have been crossed by any other member. And your coach probably find it before. So probably your coach will say, hey, there is a bridge down there. Goes there and then cross the river. It will be much easier. That's why you need to listen. And sometimes you say, my ego. I need to cross the river because I want to cross the river. And this is basic one example, but happens many times in Herbalife. Happens many times. So you need to look around. Look what the people do, because all this area has been passed by many members. Now, for example, in my case, I don't have many members climbing in the mountain. What I find ice. Yes, I find ice. And probably one of you, if you are not 60K, you didn't find the ice. Yes, but I find ice now. But if I find the stone, I find the river, I find this, probably I will climb the ice. So it will be something similar at the end. Now I try to see other members, what they do, and I learn from any other. So the situations are exactly the same for you than for me. It's how you are from this problem or not. And this is basically what you will find in the future in all the progress in Herbalife. For example, with the technology, people say this is a new app. Oh my God, what do I do? And they don't read it in the messages. Why? Because they get blocked. So at the end is analyze the message. And if this message is not proper one, find in Google, ask your sponsor, ask your coach. And this is very important. Because there are many leaders trying to help you. Because the business is like that. It's like that. Okay? This is very important thing. Another thing is if you want to grow and make sure your royalties keep growing, because the basics are very, very, very basic. Attract people, keep the people, and teach these two things. This is what we will see in the next section. These two things to other people. So basically, it's very simple business because the rest of elements are done by Herbalife. Herbalife manage the delivery. Herbalife manage if they have one problem with the products they are going to sell, or the products they are going to launch, they manage. Everything is managed by other people. So what you have to do, attract people, keep those members, and teach this to other members. So that's very simple business. Very, very simple business. But if you want to grow and have a sustainable business at the end, you need two things. For me, it's the most important for the leadership. One, the two things is the structure. One is structure, support your team. And the next thing is the flow. Flow. What is the flow? The flow has to be clear in your mind and clear in the mind of your team. And this flow are based on this structure. I will teach you several things that the structure has to have. This is what I'm going to show you. The structure has to have three things, at least. One is a motivation system. So think in your structure. Do you have something motivate your team? If you don't have, you have to find it. Because at the end, people doesn't work because they work for two things. They work because they are motivated and they have the proper vision. They don't work because you tell them, you have to work. No. They will work because they have the vision. They will get something nice and good and big. And they have the motivation to do it. One thing is based in the results. The results are basic, very basic. Because if you see yourself very good, you will be motivated, and the people will see it. So you will attract people, not only for clients, also for business. But you need the events. You need the retreats. If you don't have meetings, see your team, not only online, meet just for having a coffee. All these elements, and much more as you can have, you need in your structure. Another thing you need is a training system. Why? Because you need independent members. This is very important if you want to grow a stable business and sustainable business. If you want to make sure you will not get limits, is because the people will be in one moment independent. At the beginning, they are not, but they will be in the future. One, when they know everything. So at the beginning, they will start asking you many times. But the good part is on every month they spend, they will require you longer. And after some months, they will not require you. Only sometimes, obviously, because you pass this river, and probably is this member see this river and say, oh, I don't know what to do, and they block. So you need to teach, to show, to see, hey, look at this. You see the solution. So at the end, you will teach them to get independent and leaders. This is something sometimes we forget. But this is something similar we have with our kids. Is if they ask you how much is 2 plus 3, do you say 5? It's 5. If you are doing something like that, you don't teach your children. You only give them the solution. But it's not a question of giving them the solution. It's just to make sure they're independent, because in the future, they will not see 2 plus 3. They will see 2 plus 5, 2 plus 10, 2 plus 11. So you teach them the rule. If you teach them to think, at the end, your children will learn. And in the future, if they find another river, they will be able to cross by themselves. And this is a question about your limits, because if everything depends on you, your limits will be soon, and you will not grow until president of 50K or whatever K, it doesn't matter. So at the end, you need to make sure that people are independent, and you teach them the rules just to make sure they are independent in the future. And the third element has to have in the structure is a support system. What is support system? Is when the distributor has problems, where do they ask? Where? You can use Telegram groups, Facebook group, WhatsApp groups, chat directly, Zoom calls, any elements you do just to make sure when they have questions, you give them, you teach them. You teach them, and the support system will be as good if the answer is given of the solution or if the teach of the solution is given fast. And the quality of the solution is good. Obviously, it's not only fast. No. Fast and good. Fast and good. So you need these three elements in your system. You need these three elements in your system. And with that, we will analyze the second part you need to understand is the flow. What is the flow? The flow analyze when you get members or you get clients until they become president. This is the full flow, because at the end, your final role is build president. That's true. That's true. Because this is how Herbalife is built. In the middle, there are many elements, and you can divide this big flow in multiple parts because you don't need to learn this if you are here. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But if you are here, from here to here, has to make sure that you understand all this part, because this is what you will teach to your team. So it's basically the life. So when you are growing, you will see different rivers, different mountains, different stones, and you will be able to solve the solution of your team because you saw many different types of rivers, many different types of stones, and you have the experience to help them to go on the path. Because the success at the end is at the top of the mountain, at the top of the mountain. This is the mountain, so people start here. I'm around here, but I need to go here, obviously, if you want to grow the path. The good thing about this, you know what? You start having a good views. So that's very good because it's like a game. For me, it's like a game. I see this, oh my God, this is like a game. You know, Herbalife created all the time. When you are here, probably there will be another mountain higher. So it's a good game, a nice game, because you will find solutions, you will find mountain, ice, river, raining, and it's very excited, very, very excited. But the good thing is, on this area, start having good life, so you enjoy climbing the mountain. So make sure you analyze this flow, and I will teach you one generic flow just to make sure you adapt this flow to your proper flow. And most probably this flow will be valid for anyone. Okay, I will teach you. What is this? This is the total amount of people the product is valid for. Who can buy Herbalife? Think about that. Everybody. If I analyze this, it can be huge. Everybody in your country, in your city, in another country, in another place. What's the problem? The problem is those members, those people doesn't see you. Only one portion of the people see you. So if I have to analyze the people see you, that's this, it will be like compared with the amount of people is valued the product for, you will be, the people see you like that. Obviously, I cannot draw like that. It will not be possible. So I will suppose is this amount of people will see you. This is the amount of people see you. Obviously, it will be much lower compared with the total population, obviously. But how do you improve this? Obviously, not everybody sees you. Not everybody sees you. There is a loss. So on this gap, you need to think what you have to do to make sure more people see you. Because if they don't, probably they are no clients. They are no clients. But how do you improve? more people see you, because if more people see you, more people will buy you. Because the next step will be, okay, ask you. They see you, but they don't ask you. There are people see you, but probably they don't ask you about Herbalife. Do you know how many girls I answer about the clothes Miriam is wearing? A lot. Not everybody asks me about Herbalife. Not all of them. There are people see me and they don't ask me. So this is another phase you have to analyze. You have to analyze, because how I make sure more people ask me about Herbalife. And there are another one is here is the people say yes to buy. And this is a different phase. All the people ask you at the end buy products? No, not all of them. Some of them buy. Some of them buy, but not all of them. So there is a loss. Okay? So at the end, here will be the people say yeah, buy, but they don't buy. This is the real people buy. Do you know how many people say yes, but at the end they don't buy? A lot. So at the end, look at this. This is the amount of people really buy. Really buy. And this is another phase in your flow. All this area is what we call the entrance, that we will analyze more tomorrow. But the entrance is not only entrance. No, the entrance is analyzed in different parts. Why I say you this? I say you this because based on the phase you are analyzing, you will have to do one thing or another. For example, on this phase, the people are in the world see me. Obviously, if I am always at home, nobody sees me. If I have a club, if I have a Facebook page, if I have an Instagram page, if I speak to people, if I deliver flyers, if I have my nutrition club and the people come around, all this, make sure this area is good. Imagine nobody sees you. For sure, nobody will buy. Because if nobody sees you, nobody will buy. So you need to think on this. How I improve? For example, do I put advertisement in social media? Do I deliver flyers to bring people more to the clubs? Or I'm all the time waiting the people come to the club? So this is totally different phase than the next one. The next one is, for example, the people ask. They ask if they have the confidence, if they see you that you are real and you inspire them, because the people can start see us in social media 6 months, and after 6 months they buy or they ask to buy. They ask me about information. Why? Because it was not the moment. When they saw me many times, at the end they buy. So are you constant doing your job just to make sure those people see you at the end? Because if they see you, in one moment, it will be their moment to ask. So do you do correct publication? The publications you do in social media, or the flyers you deliver, or the decoration of your club is nice enough just to make sure at the end they say, hey, I want to enter here and I want to ask you about one shake. So you need to think on the different elements, what you do based on your flow, And this part start depending on you, because now they started. But who buy? Only this one. Not all the members who ask buy. Are you professional? You have a good speech? You deliver a good service? So, or are you calling them? Do you call them or do you do only WhatsApp? Do you look like a robot? Because if you copy and paste everything, nobody will buy. So at the end, anything of this will be valid. So you need to analyze, you understand this flow, because this flow has to be clear for you and for your team. If your team understands the flow, if you understand the flow, you will make sure you will be able to help your team to grow. If you don't understand your flow, for sure you will not be able to help your team. Because at the end, if you want to build your royalties, you need to help those members to cross this river, to jump this stone, or to climb this ice wall. So at the end, you need to pass, and you have to this clear just to make sure they start growing. And there is another phase now, very important too, is all the people's by the second month. Not all of them. I would love to have this plan, but this is not possible. This is not possible. Always there is a lose. And in the third month, even less people. And in the fourth month, even less people. And the final part of this flow is how many are interested in the business? Who is interested in the business? This is the last part of my flow. And this is the second part of your business, is the follow-up. Just to make sure the people keep on the result, keep motivated, and they feel the inspiration to ask you about the business. Because this is the goal of this. This is the final goal. Obviously, the final goal is your client and the results of your clients, but they will come, one of them, to the business. So if you want to analyze the enterprise goal, will be obviously at the end, they ask about the business. Focusing on the results of the client, for me is clear. So what do you do on the different phases? Because here you need to ask many times the first month, how many contacts do you have with your team? What's happening if the first month you lose everyone? Because you leave them alone? What's happening if the second month there are nobody? Do you have solutions for them? Do you have games for them? Do you have challenge? Do you have activities with them? Because if you have those things in your flow, in your structure, for sure they will keep. Because the people will keep only if they are happy, if they are motivated, if they are inspired, if they like the results, if they are getting results. So this is why the people keeps in the flow. But look at this. All these people see you, but only this keeps until the end. So you need to analyze the different elements in your flow just to make sure you can help your team. And if it's clear, you will help your team for sure. But what's happened after that? This is very interesting. What's happened after that is this person, imagine, is only one. In the first month, they bring 3 people because they bring their friends with their family. So this is the baby's step, the first steps, what we call baby. And later, there are about 20 people. They are like whole team. Here is supervisor, until supervisor. They are more people until get team. There are 200 members here. Only one person brings you here 200 members. Only one. And if you start growing until I don't have space in my iPad now, here is when you become leadership. And you become president. So this is different phase of your flow. They start from this until they get the final, they get the president. In the middle, what you will have to do is the duplication. Basically, guys, what we have is people in all these areas. people in the area of the follow-up, because we are always pushing here, always social media, pushing, posting, boom, marketing, speaking with people, speaking fire, what we always bringing people, always. Those members who are seeing me, we are posting, doing histories, speaking to them, keeping relation, doing activities just to make sure they see, showing results of the other people, just to make sure these people are seeing me. At the end, they ask me. When they ask, there are people today ask me, I'm trying to be professional. I try to explain everything. I try to call them just to make sure it's very clear. They don't have any question. They feel like a queen. So at the end, they feel good. And at the end, they say yes. When they say yes, I have people just started today, and they starting with the follow-up just to make sure I show them the shake, how to make the shake, how to prepare the tea, what they can eat, what's the rule, whatever you want to show them, what's the activities they can join them. So all this just to make sure the people are happy, focusing in their results. Focusing in their results. When they get at the end, some members ask me, when? I don't know. I cannot know. I try to do sometimes one tricky, I say, hey, I'm going to show you how to increase your discount if you bring people. Something similar, like they attract me. Hey, why don't we do an activity in this park and we speak each other and they see this guy is doing the business. I can earn some money. So make sure this is in your structure. So you need to make sure all these elements are in your structure. And if you don't, you have to make sure you create it. And after that, I have people here, people here, people here, people here. What's the good thing? The good thing is the people here are getting independent, more independent. So I release them. That's created my stable royalties. So I bring people here because I want to make sure the next year I will have people here. Because if you stop the flow here, for sure, in 6 months, you will not have people here. And you will depend only on the people you build here. And I don't want to depend to anybody. I want to make sure that my success depends on me. As much as possible, obviously. Everything is not possible. Everything is not possible. But as much as possible depends on us, my wife and me. So understanding properly the flow and including in your structure all the elements left just to make sure the flow is good, is follow the flow. Adding more elements. If you just started the business here, you don't need to understand about leadership, how to create precedent, because this is very long in your flow. You have to make sure you know, if you are here, this is very clear. If you are here, this is very clear. And if you are here, this is very clear. It's because you lived and you created. Most probably, what's the problem? The problem is some people, I say, no, don't cross the river, don't cross the river, and they cross. Why? Because I know after this river, there is a worse situation. Sometimes there is not only one path to go to the mountain, only one path. So based on how you adapt and how you solve your problems, if they take different paths, probably new for you, you will help them because you have the experience with your path or with other paths. That's why the experience here is very important. The experience here is very important. So after that, the business is simple. It's simple. When you have big organization, there will be a communication problem. How do you communicate with so many groups and independent, because you want to help them, all of them, and it's complicated. But the technology will help you. But this is very on the high. Before, there are plenty of things to do. One day, and the next day too, and never stop. This is the best advice I can give you. Really, thanks for all. See you soon in Spain.
Wow, koji trening! Ako uzmemo samo 10% od ovoga i stavimo u praksu, mi ćemo biti svi minimalno prezentimi.
A sada nas čeka Tap Team i Active World Team trening koji će odvoditi kao MC naš prijatelj u statusu International Millionaire Team Mike Bergant.